All right, so I want you to try the first problem. So what is the measure of RQU? So 1 minute, begin. All right, so let's now discuss problem number one. So we know we want to get the measure of QU. Now, in order to get the measure of QU, because as you can see, we have the two secants intersecting outside the circle. So when two secants intersect outside the circle, what is the relationship? Farther arc minus nearer arc divided by 2. So if we want to get the measure of this angle, farther arc minus nearer arc divided by 2. So in this case, we don't know the measure of RS. So we want to get the measure of RS. And how do you know how do we get the measure of RS? So we have RV, RTS. Remember that RTS is given as 50 degrees. And what is angle RTS? Angle RTS is an inscribed angle. And we know that the measure of an inscribed angle is always equal to 1/2 the measure of the intercepted arc. So this is the intercepted arc, right? What is the measure of, if this is not given, and this is given, in order to get this angle here, you just get the measure of the intercepted arc divided by 2. But in our case, the intercepted arc is already given, 50 degrees. So if you are going to get the measure of arc RS, because arc RS is an intercepted arc, and the angle is already given, the inscribed angle is already given, what shall we do? Di ba we multiply it by 2? We double the angle. So 50 times 2, that is 100 degrees. Correct? That's 100 degrees. So the measure of this angle is 100 degrees. Now, we don't know this, but we know that the given angle here is 29 degrees. So what is the theorem? We write here by theorem. So anong theorem yon? So that's angle relationships, right? So we have theorem 6, theorems 8, and theorem 7, 9, 10. So basically, we have two secants intersecting outside the circle. So that's theorem 7, correct? So theorem 7. So I will now go to the solution. So this is by theorem 7. Measure of angle P is always equal to 1/2 the measure of arc RS minus the measure of arc QU. Okay? So this is now the farther arc minus the nearer arc. So it's always farther arc minus nearer arc divided by 2. But in our case, angle P is already given as 29 degrees, right? Is equal to 1/2 the measure of arc RS, that's 100 degrees, minus the measure of arc QU. Correct? So as you can see here, RQU is unknown. And in the problem, we want the measure of RQU. So what shall we do in order to get the measure of RQU? So if you have fractions, it's always automatic that if we want to solve the unknown measure and there is a fraction involved, we need to clear the fraction first. How do you clear the fractions? You get the LCD. We know that the denominator of 29 is 1. So we have now 1 and 2. So fraction is 29 over 1 and 1/2. What is the LCD of this fraction? So the denominator is 1 and 2. Of course, the LCD is 2. That's correct. You multiply both sides by 2. So I will multiply this by 2. Now, so since we have already the LCD, multiply both sides by 2. So 2 times 29, that's 58. That's correct. Then what will happen to the denominator 2? So this is cancelled. This is cancelled. This will be cancelled. So you only have 100 minus the measure of RQU. So that is the reason why we take the LCD. So that we can eliminate the fractions. As you can see, we have now a linear equation without any fractions. So it's easy for us to manipulate. Transposing negative MQU, okay, so as you can see, that's negative. Measure of RQU is negative, so that will become positive if transpose. This will become measure of RQU So the sign here is negative, right? If you transpose, this will become positive. That's why this is positive. The measure of RQU equals 100 minus, so this time you transpose 58, that will become negative 58. So therefore, measure of RQU is 100 minus 58, which is 42. So therefore, the measure of RQU is 42 degrees. And that is not letter C, that's letter B. That's the final answer. So which expression can be used to calculate the length of segment PS? Is it letter F, letter G, letter H, or letter J? So 1 minute, begin. All right, let's now answer the second one. Which expression can be used to calculate the length of PS? So we want the length of PS. Let's highlight that one, PS, right? So if you want to get PS, we will apply the chord-chord product theorem. So if you are going to go back, this one, the secant-secant product theorem. So if you are going to go back, we have here theorem 12. So if two secants intersect in the exterior of the circle, then the product of the length of one secant segment and its external part is equal to the product of the length of the other secant segment and its external part. So we just use theorem 12 to get the correct result. So let's now here write by theorem 12. What's the relationship? Whole secant segment times external is always whole times external. Okay. So what is the whole secant segment? We have PS multiplied by its external. So the external part here is PU. Right? That's the external PU. So we will multiply it by PU, that's the external, is equal to the whole. So the other way is this one. Whole is PR. And then what is the external part? PQ, correct? So we write here PR, that's the whole secant segment, and its external part is PQ. Okay, now in the question, you are asked to solve PS. So how do you solve for PS? We will now divide both sides by PU. So you divide this by PU. Divide by PU, divide by PU. So PU will be cancelled, therefore PS is equal to PR times PQ all over PU. And this is now the final answer. PR times PQ all over PU, the answer is letter F. This is the answer. A. Letter F, yeah. Letter F is the answer. Okay, all right, that's correct. The answer is letter F. Okay, so we'll now proceed to the next one. So you may screenshot if you want. All right. So next, problem number 3. What is the measure of angle FHG? FHG this time. Okay, 1 minute, begin. All right, so let's now answer number 3. What is the measure of angle FHG? So, again, by theorem 7, because we want the measure of this angle here, and this is given already, and we know that we have two secant segments intersecting outside the circle. This is the farther arc, this is the nearer arc. In the problem, we don't know the nearer arc, but we can get the measure of the nearer arc, the measure of the nearer arc, arc FG, right? That's arc FG. That this is the nearer arc. How do you get the measure of FG? Because one circle is equivalent to 360 degrees, and this is given FE 70, arc ED 120, arc GD 150. So that means to get the missing arc here, you just have to subtract that from 360. So 360 minus the sum of 70 plus 120 plus 150. What is that? Okay. So the answer is 20 degrees, correct. That's 20 degrees. So this is 20 degrees. Measure of arc FG is 20 degrees. So this is now, we know this is 20 degrees based on our computations. So this is 20 degrees. So let's now state here what is theorem 7. Measure of angle FHG is just one half the measure of the farther arc. What is the farther arc? Arc ED or DE, right? Minus the nearer arc is FG. Okay, arc FG. So again, this is the farther arc. This is the nearer arc. So we want the measure of angle FHG. So 1/2 times, how long is ED? Arc ED, 120 degrees. How long is FG? Based on our computations, arc FG is just 20 degrees. So this is now 20 degrees. So the measure of FHG is 1/2 of 120 minus 20. That's 100, right? But you multiply by 1/2 or divide by 2, measure of FHG is just 50 degrees. Angle FHG is 50 degrees. And that's letter F. Guys, it's letter F. All right? You may now answer problem number 4. Segment CD is tangent to circle B at point C, and the measure of arc AC is 65 degrees. What is the measure of angle ABC? Is it 130, 65, 32.5, or 25? 1 minute, begin. All right, let us now answer problem number 4. So in the problem, the measure of arc AC arc AC is 65 degrees, and we want to get the measure of this angle. We know that by the definition of the central angle, we know that angle ABC is a central angle. By the definition of the central angle, the measure of the intercepted arc and the central angle are always congruent or equal. Thus, if arc AC is 65 degrees, that means angle ABC is also 65 degrees. That's why the answer here is only 65 degrees. The measure of the intercepted arc with respect to the central angle, they are always equal. Therefore, the answer is letter B. By definition of the central angle, the measure of the central angle is always equal to the measure of its related arc. Or the measure of the central angle is always equal to the measure of its intercepted arc. All right. So let's now proceed to the next problem. Problem number 5. So in problem number 5, you have the same figure. Same figure with problem number 4. But this time, you are going to get the measure of angle ACD. ACD. All right? Take note that CD is a tangent segment. And we have a chord intersecting the tangent segment. So what do you think is the measure of the angle formed here given that the measure of RAC is 65 degrees? You may now begin. 1 minute. All right, let's now discuss number 5. CD is tangent to circle B at point C and arc AC is equal to 65. What is the measure of angle ECD? So in here, we can use, because we have a tangent and a chord, sometimes secant. When a secant or a chord intersect the tangent segment at the point on the circle, meaning they intersect at the point of tangency, the measure of the angle formed is equal to 1/2 the measure of its intercepted arc. So whatever is the measure of the intercepted arc, you just divide it by 2 or multiply by 1/2. Because this is already 65 degrees, the measure of our intercepted arc AC is 65. You just divide it by 2. So let's now write here formally by theorem 8, measure of angle ACD is just 1/2 the measure of arc AC. Correct? So 1/2 of 65 degrees. Measure of ACD is So 32.5 degrees. So this is 32.5 or ilagay nat let's write here measure of angle ACD is 32.5 degrees. So as we said, if there is a letter M here, it's no need to put degree measure here. But some students would like to have a degree measure in their final answer. So if you will be writing the degree measure, you have to remove letter M. Okay, but this is enough already, 32.5. But in case you want to put a degree measure, degree symbol, you can have this, 32.5 degrees. All right? All right, so that's the answer for number 5. So I will give you 1 minute again to solve this problem. If LK is equal to 6, LN is 10, and PK is 3, what is PM? As you can see, there are two chords intersecting inside the circle. So what do you think is the measure of PM? So we have chord PM intersecting with chord LN at point K. What is PM? 1 minute, begin. So let's now answer problem number 6. If LK is 6, let's label the figure. So 6, uh, LK is 6. LK is 6. LK is 6. LN is 10. So this is 10. So if if this is 10 and this is 6, how do you get the measure of Kn? Because we want Kn later, right? So because this is 10, this is 6, to get this, you just subtract 6 from 10, right? So 10 minus 6, that's 4. So therefore, this portion is 4 units only. So Kn is 4. Next, Pk is 3. So Pk is 3. Let's write here 3. Then, yeah, what is your Pm? So in order to get Pm, of course, you still need Km, right? You still need to find out what is the measure of Km. All right? So how do we get that? So by theorem 11, we know that Pk times Km is equal to what? The product of the length of the chords of one segment is equal to the product of the lengths of the chords of the other segment. Therefore, Pk times Km is just equal to KL times KN or NK. So how long is PK? This is 3 units. How long is KM? We don't know KM. So just write it KM. How long is KL or KL, LK? That's 6. KN is 4. So there is only one missing. There is only one missing variable here. That's Km. So to solve for that, this is just the same as 3 km equals 24. We divide by 3. Km is, what is 24 divided by 3? 8. So this is 8 units, right? Km is 8. But what do we want? We want PM. So to get PM, PM is just PK plus KM, correct? How long is PK? 4. How long is KM? 8. How long is 24 divided by 3? 8. How long? PK is 3. Yes. PK is 3. That's not 4. This is 3. PK is 3, right? This one. So 3 plus 8, how long is PM now? Our final answer is 11. Therefore, what is the answer? Option E. That's the final answer. What is the measure of angle NKL? So we know that there are two chords intersecting inside the circle. So if there are two chords intersect inside the circle, the angle formed is angle JKN. So remember, when these two chords intersect inside the circle, you will have the angle that will be formed, which is angle JKN or angle MKL. But let us just use JKL since JKN is just vertical to MKL. So the measure by theorem 6. Okay, can you still recall theorem 6? Theorem 6. The measure of angle JKN is just one half the measure of what? Arc JN plus the measure of arc ML. Oh, those who are very good in playing ML, shout out. Okay, so the measure of angle JKN is equal to one half the sum of the measures of JN. Arc JN is here. This is your arc GN plus the measure of arc ML. Then multiply by one half or divide by 2. So therefore, we have one half. JN is 118 plus ML is 58. All right. Next, after that, what shall we do? Let us now simplify. That's problem number 7, right? Okay. So 118 plus 58, that's 176, correct? And if you simplify that, what is one half of 176? Divided by 2, we have 88 degrees. So this is 88 degrees. This angle here is 88 degrees, but we want NKL. This is 88 degrees. So how do you get the measure of this angle NKL? We know that angle NKL and JKN are, these two angles here are linear pair. If two angles form a linear pair, the sum is always 180 degrees. Therefore, by linear pair postulate, the measure of angle JKN plus the measure of angle NKL is equal to 180. Measure of angle NKL is 180 minus the measure of angle JKN. So that's 180 minus 88. Correct? And 180 minus 88, that's right. NKL is equal to 92 degrees. And this is now the final answer. That's problem number 7. All right, let's now discuss problem number 8. What is the measure of angle ABC? So we want the measure of angle ABC here. This is angle ABC. Now, but the given is arc AB. Arc AB is 128. We know that there is a tangent segment. We have a tangent segment here. This is the tangent segment, and this is the secant line or secant segment. So we know that the measure of an angle formed when the tangent line and the secant segment intersect, the measure of the angle formed is always one half the measure of the intercepted arc. The intercepted arc here is arc AB. So that's theorem 8. So by theorem 8, the measure of angle, I will assign another point here. Let's say this point here is point D. Okay? So measure of angle ABD is just one half of its intercepted arc, which is arc AB. So the measure of angle ABD is one half of 128 degrees. And what is the measure of 128 degrees? One half of 128 degrees is 64. So the measure of angle ABD is 64. So this is 64, right? So let's now write here. This is now 64 degrees. Now, but what we want is what is the measure of angle ABC? What is the measure of angle ABC? Because angle ABD, we know that angle ABD and angle ABC forms a linear pair. We know that these two angles here are linear pair. So angles that form a linear pair are always adjacent. And the sum of the measures is equal to 180 degrees. That means by linear pair postulate, LPP stands for linear pair postulate. Okay, so by linear per postulate, the measure of angle ABD plus measure of angle ABC is always equal to 180. So how do we get the measure of angle ABC? So it's basically 180 minus the measure of, to get ABC is 180 minus the measure of angle ABD. So therefore, 180 minus 164 degrees. So therefore, measure of angle ABC is 180 minus 64, which is 116 degrees. So now, our final answer is 116 degrees. This is the final answer. Angle ABC is 116 degrees.